Today we are going to go over rest pause sets. Probably my favorite intensity technique, maybe up there with cluster sets, but actually they're pretty close to each other. They're pretty close to actually being similar techniques, but we can kind of go over what a rest pause is and how that differentiates from a cluster set today. So rest pause set, the best way to think about this is three, not two, not four, 3 mini sets, each taken to a specified failure point or proximity to failure and divided by short rest periods. So I can give an example of that right now. So here we have a machine chest press. What I'm gonna do is we will assume that this is my 12 rep max. Let's just say this is my 12 rep max, and with rest pause sets, you typically wanna be around 12 to 15 rep max on your set one, so on your first mini set. There are a couple reasons for that. You wanna be able to use enough intensity, enough load to create a large stimulus, but you don't wanna use so much load to where you're not able to get reps on the subsequent mini sets. So you still wanna fall between 12 to 15 on your first set. So let's say here, this is my 12 rep max. And the key is that you wanna take the initial set too close to failure. So like, you can say that you want to stop 1 rep in reserve, and let's say I stop 1 rep in reserve there. Now I'm going to rest for a specified period of time. For me, I like to keep things around 20 seconds with rest pause sets. So let's say 20 seconds passes. Now I'm going to go again with the same load. Obviously, I have not fully recovered, so my reps are going to drop off pretty quickly here. So whereas I might have gotten 12 reps on set 1 to 1 rep in reserve, maybe on set 2, I only get 6 reps. See where this is going? Rest again, 20 seconds, and then I go again for this last mini set. And this one will still be taken to the same proximity of failure, but again, the reps will drop off if you've done things right. And let's say I can only get 4 reps there before needing to end the set. So all in all, that would be 3 mini sets, each one taken to the same point or proximity to failure, but that is 12, 6, 4, so it's what, 22 total reps. That's awesome for a load that is about my 12 rep max. That's a great way to condense a lot of intensity into short bursts. But that's kind of where the drawback is as well. This is a massively intense technique. It is going to create a lot of fatigue, and most of the time this is going to be done on pretty heavy compound movement. So you're probably not going to want to do it on things like squats, but if it's a stable movement, if it's something that you can easily replicate your effort, so like a leg press, a machine chest press, let's say like, a machine row, things like that. I typically prefer machines just because of their ease of use and their safety. This is going to be something that can create a absolutely gigantic hypertrophy stimulus. And maybe even best of all, it's really easy to progress and track progression. You can add 1 rep on 1 of those mini sets. You can add load. You can push further as far as your intensity goes. So going from like maybe 2 reps in reserve to 1 to all the way to failure. You can shorten rest periods. There's so many ways that you can progress rest pauses that this is honestly one of those techniques that you can leave in pretty much all the time as long as you're controlling for your intensity, for your fatigue. You do not want to do a ton of volume of rest pause sets. This is a very low volume technique, so it's hit it and then you're gone. You do not need to be doing 3, 4 sequences of that rest pause, otherwise you might actually die. So very similar to what we've done in the past with cluster sets, where condensing that volume into short bursts, and then that's going to be separated by shorter rest periods as well to where you're not fully recovered. But rest pause, it's going all the way to or close to failure on each one of those bouts. So that's kind of what separates rest pause from some of the other intensity techniques that we will become accustomed to or that we'll see introduced here and there whenever we're training. But again, probably one of my favorite movements, or one of my favorite, intensity techniques to be able to use, just because it's so easy to control, it is so easy to progress, And honestly, it is just really, really freaking hard. So rest pauses, give them a shot, make sure it's a stable movement, make sure you control for your fatigue, for your intensity, and also volume, and don't die.